What's up, everybody? My name is KSaun. Welcome back to another Pokemon Draft League video, and today is quarterfinals of the SPDA. So this is going to be a good one. After last week's win against Goki Gamer in the play-in round, we are now a 5-4 record plus 8 differential, but we are the 7th seed for the playoffs. We will remain the 7th seed even if we win today. That was just what we're rolling with, and we're facing off against the 3rd seed this week. However, this is no normal 3rd seed because the top 3 teams are all 7-1. And essentially how the bracket plays out is the 7 plays the 10, 8 plays the 9, winners move forward. Once you have the 8 teams in the quarterfinals, the first overall seed chooses their opponent of the bottom 4 teams, and then the 2nd seed chooses their opponent of what's left of the bottom 4 teams, and so on and so forth. So the top 4 will not play each other, the bottom 4 will not play each other in this round, and it's basically you get to pick who you want to play if you were really good this season. So Kaz the Weeb, number 1 overall seed this season, was 7-1 with a really nice differential, ended up choosing the 8th seeded Nova in his Mono Fire team. The 2-seeded Maki ended up choosing the 6th seed, which is Willow's team, who is very, very scary, ended up 5-3 over the course of the season. But yeah, even though we were the 7th seed, we're actually playing the 3 seed instead of 2 because Maki did not want to face us and have us get revenge against them. So we are going up against Bruno. Bruno had the option of playing either us or Pup's team. I don't blame him for choosing us because honestly, Pup is a very good player and a very good team, but I'm going to hope to make him pay for choosing us. So this is how it goes. He is 7-1 with a plus 17 differential, and I'm going to give him some flowers here, guys, because genuinely going into this, I think this is probably the toughest draw we could have grabbed. Even though we've lost to Maki and Kaz, I think this is the toughest team. And I say that just because it just doesn't really have any weaknesses. Like overall, it's just a very strong team overall. If you're trying to poke a hole in the roster, I would say that the speed tiers are a little weird just because 110 to 87 is a pretty large gap. But like honestly, aside from that, like I can't really find many holes. And you could easily say almost the same thing about mine because mine goes from 110 to 94. So along with that, Bruno might be the best battler in our league. He's been playing for many years, I believe, many seasons. I don't think he's won a championship in this generation, but I believe he has won them before. And just watching his battles, honestly, the guy is he's a stud. He's very, very good. We're going to have our work cut out for us this season, but I think we've got a chance. I think we've got a strong roster. I said going into the playoffs, after we won week 8, that I said I think we have a chance versus anybody, and I think that still goes for this week. So even though he's 7-1, his only loss is to the 2-seed Maki. I'm hoping to give him his 2nd loss this week and hopefully enter the semifinals. So yeah, we'll take a look and see what we're bringing this week. Last week, playoffs week number 1 MVP was going to the Iron Hands. I could have easily given it to Lucario as well, but Iron Hands had 2 kills, and now the season kills are updated on the left side, including both the regular season and the playoffs. So before I get into who I'm bringing this week, just to look over his roster because this is the first time facing off against him. He is a Greninja, which is a very scary Pokemon. Battle Bond or Protean are both really, really good here. I expect it probably is Battle Bond to get a late game, sweep off against me because I think it could be pretty decent in that role. However, because I don't have a grounded poison, I also could see it just being like a T-Spike's lead to start. The Tornadus Therian with the Regenerator ability is probably the best ability that a Pokemon can have in Draft League. When you switch out and then switch back in, you just recover a third of your overall HP, which is just absolutely broken and bananas, especially on a Pokemon that gets U-turn, who can pivot in and out. It's got good bulk, it's got good offensive stats. I expect it to come this week, probably with the Assault Vest item as a somewhat check to my Spectrier. But we'll see how that goes. The Screamtail here is also a nightmare. 111 base speed. It doesn't have a whole lot of offensive power right out of the gate, but has crazy good defensive stats. Has access to Thunder Wave. It has access to screens. It has access to Encore, Disable. Like, it is ridiculous how many good support moves that this thing gets. It even has Wish support, which is very, very scary. Psychic Fairy typing is pretty good defensively. And a good offensive Pokemon on the team is the Gengar. 110 base speed is a pretty good speed tier into my team. Ghost Poison typing. Could be a Toxic Spike's lead. Also could just be a Scarf Pokemon who just tries to revenge things against me. The scariest Pokemon on his entire team, though, I think for me is the Great Tusk. 87 base speed is nothing too crazy, but it's faster than a lot of my bulkier mons, and type-wise, it is fantastic into them. It has the ground typing, which is really good into Iron Hands, and fighting typing, which is really good into Ting-Lu. So my 2 superstar defensive pieces of my team just get crushed by this thing. Now, if I invest enough, they do not get one shot, but they don't like taking a hit. That is what I will say about that. It also gets access to rapid spin and hazards. I expect some sort of rapid spin set with probably headlong rush, close combat, and knockoff come this week. Rotom Mow with the electric grass typing is actually very good in me as well, because my only immunity to electric, obviously the Ting Lu, can actually just get shredded by a Leaf Storm, especially if it's a spec set. It does not want to take that. Also getting access to screens, Will-O-Wisp, Thunder Wave, very good utility option. Lantern, I'll be honest, I don't expect this to come this week. I think I have too many mons that are good into it, but I do expect that the Registeel has a chance of coming. Steel typing, it also has a very good special defense stat, so I could see this being another check to my Spectrier. Also has access to Thunder Wave, Stealth Rocks, and overall just able to deal out some damage with a pretty strong move pool. Glastrier at 30 base speed. If you guys remember my season during Puddle, when I had this thing as a Terra Captain, you will know how good it is. It can hit like an absolute truck. It has ridiculous base stats. So even though it is slow, it basically just does not get one-hit KO'd by anything. And with electric, ground, and water typing, I never really know what type it's going to be when I click an attack, so I might not even two-hit KO it. And it can very likely one-hit KO something back with like a choice band item set. So that thing can be spooky. The Terra Captain that I actually do expect to come this week, though, is the Colossal, and I expect it to be Terra Ghost. And now I expect this for two different reasons. Number one, my Iron Hands offensively, even though it is slow, looks very good into Bruno's team. Just with a couple of different moves, it has great coverage. If the Great Tusk is out of the way, I think, honestly, there's not really any checks for just being able to go for like a Drain Punch after a Swords Dance. So I expect Colossal with Terra Ghost to be the answer, because if it's Terra Ghost, I can't do any damage to it at all. It also gets the Flame Body ability, which means if I hit it with a contact move, it has a 30% chance to burn me. And if you remember what happened to me with Vileplume and Effect Spore, that Flame Body could be crippling. And now the Munchlax is the last Pokemon at 5 base speed, which is probably the slowest Pokemon in the game. I don't know. It seems like it wouldn't be good. It's only 2 points in our overall like tier system, but this thing's bulk, I cannot stress enough how bulky it is, especially in its special attacks. Its HP and special defense are through the roof, and it can hold the Eviolite item. Even if I get to like +6 on Spectre, it just like okay, that's not true. If I get to +6, I can beat the Munchlax, but like I pretty much have to get up to that point. So I could actually see Munchlax coming, even if it's just for my Spectrier. But what I'm bringing into him this week, likely going to be my lead. I could switch it with one other Pokemon, and it's likely going to be this, is Jonathan the Ting Lu. Now, typing-wise, I actually don't love this into his roster, but I've brought this guy every single week, and if I lose and go out, I'm going out with Ting Lu, because this has been my MVP of the season, in my opinion. It's my kill leader, even though it's my best defensive option. We are rocking the Choppleberry, and the Choppleberry I expect to pop at some point this week, because we get value from a close combat from a Great Tusk, we get value from a Focus Blast from the Tornadus Therian, even a Body Press from Registeel. We could get Choppleberry value from any of that. It basically turns any super effective fighting attack and takes half the damage away. So max HP, max special defense for defense. This is mainly here to take special hits, as a lot of the threats on his side are special attackers, except for the Great Tusk. But again, the Choppleberry will make it so that we take that hit better. We have Ruination here. This is like my safest click to basically just like on turn 1 deal exactly half the HP to any Pokemon. So Ruination is very similar to Super Fang, except it's a dark type. It is like 90% accuracy, but it always does 50% of the current HP of the Pokemon, which is really nice. Earthquake is good into a good chunk of Mons. Obviously, you can't do anything to Tornadus or Rotom, but the rest of the Pokemon do not want to see an Earthquake. Stealth Rock is here just for hazards. It's extremely important that I get Stealth Rocks up, I think, at some point, just for the Tornadus Therian. With its Regenerator ability, Stealth Rocks, if it's not Heavy Duty Boots, which again, I don't expect it to be, I think it will be Assault Vest this week, really mitigates how much the Regenerator ability does, and Whirlwind is here to get rid of any sort of setup mon, or basically just get more things to come in and take Stealth Rock chip. One Pokemon I'm hoping that can put in some work this week, the Iron Hands Hopper with the Shuckleberry. So this is 2 Pokemon right in a row with a super effective damage berry being equipped to it. So this is essentially also for the Great Tusk. The thing is, I don't have a lot of Pokemon that can switch into Great Tusk. I have one that I will show later that can kind of be that switch in. But for now, basically my plan against Great Tusk, and except for maybe the first time, is to basically just keep in a Pokemon that's facing it, take the hit, and deal damage back. so that at least I can get chip on it, because the name of the game here is to chip Great Tusk down to basically allow my win condition, which I will talk later about. 28 HP, max attack, 220 SPDA. So this thing is specially bulky, which can be really helpful for the Rotom, the Tornadus Therian, the Greninja, especially even the Gengar. Drain Punch, Thunder Punch, Heavy Slam hits the entire roster, and Swords Dance as well. Now, Thunder Punch, I think the only Pokemon I will probably click Thunder Punch into is actually the Terraghost Colossal. Even the Tornadus Therian, I don't expect it to really stay in on Iron Hands. It probably just clicks U-turn most times. So I think the only thing that I will click Thunder Punch into is the Terraghost Colossal, which I hope I don't have to, because I don't want to get Flame Bodied, but if I have to, I have to. If I do get to +2, I can actually OHKO most of the Mons on the other team. However, I will be slower than them, and the Great Tusk is a major issue, which is why I have the Shuckleberry. Next Pokemon is an interesting one. This is the second time this season that I'm actually running Mirror Herb on Latias, and for a similar reason as I ran it last time, is basically just to get a speed boost against the Pokemon that it's supposed to check. And this is my check to Great Tusk. I say check in quotations because it can only really check it one time. It can't check it a second time because the thing just hits too hard. It can live any one single hit. It can also live a rapid spin into any one hit if it is not a Adamant Booster Energy set. If it is Adamant Booster Energy and it clicks rapid spin, it will kill us with the next hit, but that is the point of the Mirror Herb. Basically, Mirror Herb is just a feel safe for me to make sure that Great Tusk does not get out of control. If Great Tusk comes in, especially if it's Booster Energy attack, I will switch in Latias the first time. If it clicks Rapid Spin to get a speed boost, we will match it, and we will be able to KO with a Mist Ball on that next turn. If it clicks anything else, we will be naturally faster than it anyway, and we will pressure it out with a Mist Ball. Aura Sphere is for things like the Registeel that we can't hit very well with Mist Ball. And the last two moves, Healing Wish, I've said it a number of times, I think this move is really broken, I think it's really good, and I intend to put it on Latias when I can, because I think it's just really good. Thunder Wave is another move that I think is fantastic in this matchup, and the reason for this is that the Pokemon that I actually expect to show up this week, I don't think Rotom comes. If there's a chance, but I don't think so. And Lantern I don't think comes, which means it's the only Pokemon that is on Bruno's roster that can probably safely take a Thunder Wave and not get paralyzed is the Great Tusk. The problem with that is that Latias is the one Pokemon that Great Tusk does not want to see on the field. So if I switch in Latias, I literally might be able to just click Thunder Wave in front of Great Tusk, because Bruno is a fantastic player, and he is not going to want to give up his Great Tusk just for free, which means I can probably freely get a Thunder Wave on something else, and that could be pretty valuable in this matchup. Next mon is Spectre, and it is rocking the Choice Scarf just like in Week 8. Honestly, I'm not going to overthink this one. There's a chance that Munchlax comes, and if it does, it means that Spectre can't really do anything until Munchlax is gone. However, if he does that, that means he's bringing Munchlax, and what it means is that it gives me a free switch into Iron Hands to hopefully get a Swords Dance up. So that is kind of how I'm thinking about it in this matchup. If he brings the Lax, it is what it is. That just hopefully means that Iron Hands is even better. 64 into physical defense, 252 special attack, and 192 into speed with Shadow Ball, Dark Pulse, Draining Kiss, and Will-O-Wisp. Shadow Ball hits almost everything on the team for at least neutral damage. The only things that resist it are the Greninja, which can't take many Shadow Balls. It's still pretty squishy, so it can't take that very well. And the Munchlax, who is immune. And again, if he brings that, it is what it is. Dark Pulse is there to basically deal damage to the Munchlax if it comes. Draining Kiss is for a few different mons. It can hit the Greninja and the Great Tusk super effectively. And Will-O-Wisp is just in case I'm in a weird situation where I think I need to go for a burn, but I think I very likely won't click that this week. This is one of my late game win conditions depending on what Pokemon he ends up bringing. Again, if the Lax is not here, that this is probably my main win condition. I'm probably trying to just chip things down and bring in Spectre at the end game. I just need to make sure that I do not get this Scarf knocked off by the Tornadus, especially if it is a Choice Scarf Greninja. Blastoise is the next mon up to bat with the Assault Vest, 252 into HP, 36 speed, 56 special defense, and 164 attack. This is actually probably the most complicated EV spread that I've done with Blastoise this season. It's an interesting one. So for the most part, this thing is here just to hopefully take some special hits. It's going to come in and click Rapid Spin and get rid of hazards. I think there's a very likely scenario where Bruno tries to hazard stack against me for the simple fact that he has the Ghost type Gengar, and also I think Terraghost Colossal is coming, which means he could have a pretty effective spin blocker into me. However, I still need to bring this just to be safe, because if he leads Toxic Spikes Greninja and I don't have a spin blocker, I could literally just lose from that on turn 1. So Wave Crash is here just to deal a ton of damage to pretty much anything. Avalanches here is kind of an interesting tech. We are a pretty slow Blastoise, so if the Tornadus Therian is low enough and goes for something like a knockoff or a Hurricane to try and take us out, Avalanche actually will do double damage because it hits us first, which means it's 120 base ice power move. This could do like 60% to Tornadus. So if this thing is chipped and it hits us first, I could potentially just click Avalanche and KO that thing. Flip Turn is here for momentum, as always, and the Rapid Spin is here to get rid of hazards. Last but not least, feel like a broken record. This might be the 3rd week in a row I'm running basically the same set, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Running a different item than last week, but we're running Silk Scarf this week. Inner Focus, almost max HP, 252 attack, 8 speed on the Lucario, Terra Normal Lucas. Extreme Speed, Close Combat, Bullet Punch, and Sword Stance. Extreme Speed at +2 Terra Normal does a lot of work into most of the team. Close Combat is super effective, conveniently into basically all of his slow Pokemon, like Registeel, the Glastrier, Colossal if it doesn't Terra, and the Munchlax are all weak to Close Combat, so that's pretty convenient. And Bullet Punch is mainly just here for Gengar. If Gengar comes, I think it's very likely choice Scarf or Focus Sash. If I can break the Sash with the Stealth Rock, then that kind of takes care of that. +2 Bullet Punch should hopefully take care of it. And if it is choice Scarf, at least I can deal a chunk of damage before it tries to hurt me. So that is basically the whole thought behind the set. My 2 essential win conditions in this game are Spectre and Lucario. I'm hoping that those 2 can clean up at the end. I expect Iron Hands to put in some work here. Biggest threats on his team that I'm worried about. Honestly, I'm not that afraid of the Greninja. I actually would rather deal with an endgame Greninja than like a Toxic Spikes version. I don't really want to see that. AV, Salt Vest Tornadus is very scary. Screamtail is a problem because especially if it runs an Encore set, can Encore me into a Swords Dance on either one of my setup Pokemon here. And the Great Tusk for sure is threat numero uno. If I get rid of Great Tusk early, I think I win this game. I think that's kind of how it goes. But yeah, we'll see how it goes, guys. I'm excited for this. I expect a hell of a fight. Bruno is honestly a fantastic player. Like I said, he might be the #1 battler in the league. However, I do think I have a little bit of a read on him in terms of how he plays. I've watched all his videos, and he's a very smart player. I'm hoping to kind of take advantage of that during this battle. We'll see if I can successfully do it. And if this is my last battle of the season, just know that, you know, I'm very appreciative to everybody who's watched up to this point. So let's jump into this. Let's hopefully get a W. All right, guys, we are in the match versus Bruno here. So he brings Great Tusk, Colossal, Greninja, Screamtail, Registeel, and Tornadus. This is basically everything I thought. I'm kind of happy to see no Munchlax. And I'm going to just lead Jonathan here. I could lead Iron Hands, but I think Jonathan's the better play right now. I mainly just want to be able to click a Ruination early and hopefully get some Stealth Rocks up. So no Rotom is nice. A few goals I want to do. I want to try and find out if the Screamtail has Encore. I need to chip down Colossal, and I need to chip down Great Tusk in order for Lucario to win. In order for Spectre to win, I need Registeel and Tornadus chipped. Those are the main things. So we'll see what I can chip down first and then kind of go from there on whether I need Spectre or Lucario to be my likely win condition. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Best of luck to Bruno. Like I said, he is one of the best players, if not the best player in this league. So I'm looking forward to this matchup. I'm hoping to not see like Greninja. I don't really want to see like a T-Spikes lead or something. I think he probably leads... I could see him leading Tornadus. I could see Colossal. I could see Greninja. Even Registeel with Stealth Rock could be a lead, to be honest. Birdhold, I believe. Yeah, that is the Colossal. Okay, so I'm pretty okay with this, honestly. I think I just want to get a Ruination off right away. So I could go for a Stealth Rock, but this thing does get Rapid Spin. So I think Ruination is just my click here. He's going to Terra, so he's going to stay in. So as long as we land this, 50% on this thing is massive for either Lucario or Iron Hands win con. It is Terra Ghost. That is kind of what I thought. So this thing probably clicks Stealth Rock. It also could just click Will-O-Wisp to burn me. We are faster. We do land the Ruination. Unless this thing is Rest, that is massive. Hopefully no leftovers. And he's just going to go for Spikes. That is honestly fine with me. Spikes is better than Rocks for me because it doesn't chip down Latias, who I need to be my check for Great Tusk. I kind of want to just Stealth Rock here now because I don't know if he'd run Rapid Spin on this. He normally runs Spin on his Tusk. So I don't know that he would run Spin on this. And I also think there's a chance that he just goes into Great Tusk right now, because I don't think he would think I would click Ruination a second time right away. So I could see him going into Tusk and just trying to get a spin off right away. So I'm just going to get rocks up, and if he does have Rapid Spin, if he does stay in, you know, that is what it is, but I kind of want him to show me. He does stay in. Does he go for Wisp, or does he just go for another Spike Layer or Stealth Rocks? He's going to go Body Press. That's good and bad. It's going to pop our Choppel. That did a lot. It's a crit. Okay, that makes sense. That sucks, actually. I think that puts us in range of a close combat now. Do I do more with Earthquake or Ruination here? I could switch here. I think I want to click Earthquake, though, and just kind of see what kind of set this is. Based on the damage I'm calculating with Body Press, I think he's a pretty physically defensive set. But Ruination can miss, and Earthquake should do close to the same amount of damage, I think. And I honestly just want to get this thing as low as possible. He does stay in. I'm honestly surprised he's just letting me chunk this thing, because this is his spin blocker. And he does have Rapid Spin, so he has the hazard advantage right now, but only by 1 layer of spikes. And I don't really need Ting Lu that much, honestly. Like, I just want to get a layer of spikes up, or a layer of rocks up and do chip. So now I think I Ruination, because I showed EQ. And if he switches into something else, it'll take 50%. A Ruination into Earthquake should kill here. So I think I just Ruination for free. If I can't get rocks up, I can't get rocks up. Otherwise, if he goes into if he goes into Tusk now, I'll just switch into Latias. But getting rid of this Colossal is so massive for both my Iron Hands and my Lucario, and it's the spin blocker, because there's no Gengar. He just goes for a second layer of spikes. This is perfectly fine with me. I'm actually really happy about this start. I'm very surprised that he's just staying in with this. I guess it's just because he doesn't want to take a Ruination on anything else. I think an Earthquake kills from here, though. I don't know that he would want to give this up just because it's a spin blocker, so I kind of want to just go for another Stealth Rock layer. It might be silly because I think I can KO with EQ, but he still stays in. I can't believe he's willing to give this thing up. That's so crazy to me. I feel maybe he doesn't think this thing is as good into my team as I do. I think it's pretty valuable. I mean, is there anything I want to switch in here? Not really. I think I just want to get rid of this thing so that I can get rid of hazards later. He doesn't kill with a Body Press. I should kill with an EQ here. I don't have the little health bar icons. It might be a roll, but I'm going to EQ. If this kills, it's huge for me. He's just going to spin again, so he doesn't even go for Body Press. Because he tries to get rid of the rocks, which I understand. Earthquake, I think, KOs? That's so big, dude. The spin blocker is gone. Those 2 layers of spikes are fine. I mean, I think he just goes Tusk here, I would assume. Because he threatens really hard, but I'm perfectly fine with that, because Latias still, with no rocks up, just spikes. Range Rover, that's Tusk. Latias with no rocks up is a clean switch for this. She switches in every time, so I just go to this for free, and then I will find a way to pivot in Blastoise and get rid of spikes later. I'm actually so psyched to have Colossal gone, because that opens up Drain Punch so much for Iron Hands, because now his only real, like... The only thing, like, standing in the way of Lucario and Iron Hands is mostly Scream Tail. Like, if I get rid of Scream Tail, I think either one of them can clean up. We didn't DC, did we? There's been so many problems. Okay, we didn't. All right, we're good. So I'm going to swap out. Does he click Rapid Spin, or does he go for... I could see... I don't think he goes for CC. I think he probably knocks off, if anything. He does go for CC, which is great for me. I actually thought he would go for a knockoff, but this is going to drop his defense. And now here's the thing. Mist Ball kills, but Bruno is a fantastic player. I'm going to click Thunder Wave. He's switching into something. This has got to be Scream Tail. There's no way it's not. There's zero chance as good of a player as Bruno just lets me have this. I'm going to T-Wave, because if I... Yep. Oh, let's go, dude. Let's go. I purposely didn't make a lot of calls like this during the regular season because I didn't want people to think I would. I'm not even kidding. Okay, so I get the T-Wave on Scream Tail. This is phenomenal, because now I outspeed this thing, so that can be pretty huge. And now here, I think I want to go Murray here, because I just get I'll just get rid of the spikes. And the only other hazards that he can set up now, I mean, he could technically have Toxic Spikes on Greninja, but I can't imagine he's got a late game Greninja with Toxic Spikes. I think he would have let it. So what does it go for here? T-Wave, okay. So we both get a Para, but personally, I think the value of Para on Screamtail is way better for me than Para on Blastoise. So now I literally just Rapid Spin here to get rid of these spikes. If he goes for Calm Mind, it is what it is. Like, I outspeed, and I can always figure something out. So swaps out. Goes into Buckbeak. So this is the Tornadus. So Torn T comes in. I expect this to be... Okay, we get fully parried. That's actually kind of unfortunate. As long as we can break through this time and get rid of spikes, so it's still okay. But the full pair is not ideal. Hits the Bleak Wind. So early RNG not super going into our favor as we get parried, crit, and the Bleak Wind hits, but nothing major at this point. The spikes are gone, and I think there's a part of me that wants to click Avalanche, but it never KOs. If he just hits me again with another Bleak Wind, Wave Crash would take me out. I would deal a ton of damage, but I kind of think keeping Murray around for a sack later would be nice, or maybe I can find an opportunity to spin away more rocks. So I think even though Wave Crash looks enticing, I think Flip Turn is probably my play. Yeah, I'm going to Flip Turn. Goes for another Bleak Wind, hits it. Good damage. Hopefully we get this Flip Turn off. We do. Big. Big, big, big. That did a ton of damage. Wow. That did so much damage. Oh, that's actually... It's Torrent boosted. It's because we're low HP. That's actually really convenient for us. So if I Wave Crash, that might have killed that thing. I actually should have thought of that. With Torrent Boost, Wave Crash, I might have killed that thing. I should have went for that. I don't think it's low enough for me to come in and kill with Spectrier, so I think I kind of want to just come in and get my rocks up. I also could click Ruination because I don't see this guy staying in. I think he probably U-turns. I would be shocked if he stays in, because if I Stone Edge, this thing dies. Right, so Ruination feels like a decent click. I should have calced that damage. That's an offensive Torn. This might not be AV. I don't think it's like specs, but it's doing a lot. More than I thought. I'm still going to click Ruination. It goes for Bleak One again. Maybe it is locked in. That is a good amount of damage to Ting Lu. I'm surprised that he's willing to give this up. I feel like he's not really playing like how he normally plays. He normally tries to really save things, but I guess this Ting Lu is just... He really wants this gone for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why, because he tried to get rid of it with Colossal too. And now do I just die or do I sack Murray? Here's the thing, I have Healing Wish on Latias. I think Ting Lu is probably better than Murray as a Mon. So I'm going to sack Murray instead of Ting Lu. Goes for Bleak Wind and misses, but as long as he hits me again, it doesn't really matter. If he misses this and we Wave Crash, though, he doesn't miss this one. I was going to say, if he missed both, he just loses Torn. He's playing bold, man. He is really going for these Bleak Winds, like, over and over. I'm surprised. But now, this thing doesn't look tanky. I don't think it's AV. I think 11 comes in and clicks Shadow Ball and claims one if it stays in. I think it's way more likely now he does switch into his Registeel, I would imagine. Because I don't know what else could be the switch in for this, because I don't think this is AV Torn. And if it's not, Registeel has to be the answer. So I think I just chip that thing down, because unless it has Rest, it doesn't have Recovery. It very likely could have Leftovers, or it could just be somehow like an AV set, but I would be shocked by that. Yeah, Giru comes in. I imagine this is just max HP, max PDEF. Yeah, that takes it really well. Leftovers looks like. So we're doing about like 20 something, low 20s it looks like percent on that. And now I can't stay in here because this thing could Thunder Wave me. It also very likely could just go for rocks. I think that's probably what he goes for, but I can't risk the T-Wave. This actually looks juicy as hell for Hopper. I'm going Hopper here because if he does go T-Wave, it's a free turn for me. If he goes rocks, it's fine. And what I can do here is he's not gonna... Yeah, he goes for rocks. Beautiful. All right, so now I have to make a call here. There's a huge part of me that wants to click Heavy Slam here because he is not going to let me have this Registeel. Because if he lets me have this, Spectre just wins. So Screamtail comes in here, right? The only other switch in he could go for is Tusk. So if Tusk comes in, Drain Punch is the play. If Screamtail comes in, Heavy Slam's the play, which makes me think that he's probably going to go Screamtail. I could SD, honestly. If I SD and he doesn't have Encore, or if he gets fully parried, I kind of want to SD. Screamtail's coming in here. Yeah, he swaps. I probably should have Heavy Slammed. Heavy Slam's probably the safer play, because this was such an easy read, I think. But we can SD. If this guy gets fully parried, we're in a very good spot. So I just Heavy Slam. If he gets fully parried, this thing's dead. Holy shit. Holy shit, dude. That is so massive, actually. I kind of feel bad. I am sorry, Bruno. But getting this Screamtail out of the way this early is so good for me. That means he has no Encore. Tusk is going to have to come in. He's going to have to come in, which means with my Shuka, I get a Drain Punch and I chip it. I think Lucario just wins this game. I don't know how he stops Lucario unless he has upper hand on Greninja. All I have to do is get one single Swords Dance on Lucario and this game is over. Buckbee comes in. I think is, dude, hold on. I need to calc Drain Punch. This thing, from what I'm seeing, is not tanky. It's offensive. +2 Drain Punch legitimately might kill. I'm going for this. We eat that Bleak Wind. If Drain Punch kills here, we are in a phenomenal spot. Holy shit, dude. Iron Hands is going crazy right now. That para was so big. I don't know if he went for Encore or Reflect or what. I imagine it's one of the two. But that para was so massive. Unless he didn't have that. But I assume he probably had one of those. He had to have an answer for that. This has to be Tusk now. And the thing is, after the Drain Punch health regen, maybe if he's Booster Energy Adamant, maybe we don't live a Headlong after Chople or after Shuka, but I think we do. I'm just going to Drain Punch. I'm pretty sure we live this, and we are going to do probably 80 to 90%, depending on this thing's investment. And if it's no bulk, legitimately we could kill. If it's EQ, that's worse. I'm hoping to see Headlong, to be honest, because if it's EQ, we definitely, there's no way we ever kill. We only do probably half to this thing. We lagged for a second. It goes for Headlong. We should live this. It's not Booster. Unless it's Banded. It's not. We live this. -1 defense, hands. This Drain Punch is going to do so much, dude. This is going to do so much damage. Holy shit. Is that a crit? We just kill. Is it no bulk? Is that a crit? Nope. Oh my god. Hands? Dude, hands just sweeps. We just win. Off that one para. That is crazy. I don't know how he kills us. He can't one-shot us with anything. Drain Punch, Oko's Greninja, and Oko's Registeel. This game is over. I can't believe this. Bruno's 7-1, been killing it all season. I think we just win. Even if he tears into, or Proteans into water, this doesn't matter. Drain Punch, Oko's. He is Sash. Okay, he's Focus Sash. I don't think it matters. I think Iron Hand still sweeps. I think we did get a speed drop from Bleakwind, so Registeel might outspeed us and kill us with EQ. I just spam Drain Punch, though, and I think this game's over. I mean, regardless, there's no way we ever lose to a Registeel, not with everything we have on the team. So, holy shit. We're going to be in semifinals. GG to Bruno, man. This is crazy. I do feel a little bad about the full para, but at the same time, it's that was part of my strategy was I thought Latias looked incredibly good here with the Thunder Wave. I Drain Punch again. Do we outspeed after speed drop? We don't. EQ might kill us. Jesus Christ, dude. Hands is so good. Iron Hands, you are so good, dude. Oh my god. Hopper just goes wild. Hopper just goes wild, claims 5 KOs. GG to Bruno, man. I gotta message him here. G freaking G, man. I'm sorry to Bruno for the full para. Honestly, though, I think, he got rid of his Iron Hands answers early. He just let me take Colossal right at the beginning, which was like the one thing that answered Iron Hands well. And I'm really shocked that he did that. Honestly, I'm really surprised that he let me have that. And his other best answer to it was probably the Tornadus, which he also just let me chip. So Iron Hands just with 1+2 goes crazy there. If he does have Encore, then that para is absolutely massive, because that means we literally get locked into Sword Stance and can't do anything. If he went for Reflect, we wouldn't kill there, and then we could literally just click SD again and get to +4. So, like, I don't know if it matters a ton. It probably would have been a closer fight for sure, but I think we still win. I think we still are in really good position there, because Screamtail is like the one thing standing in the way. Screamtail and Tusk are the things standing in the way of the Sword Stance Lucario. So I don't know. GG. I felt really good about the prep here. Obviously that para was massive, but the prep worked really well. We got value from Choppleberry. We got value from the Shookaberry. The Rapid Spin was big on Blastoise to get rid of hazards and stuff like that. And overall, I just felt really good about this week. So yeah, we're going to pick up a 5-0 win. That's like our second biggest win of the season, which is crazy. So currently our record, if you include playoffs, is 6-4. And I think we're +13 differential now. I don't know who we're going to be playing next. We very likely, I'm going to guess we probably play against Kaz, the #1 seed, because if he beats Nova, we will be facing him. But I don't know. Regardless of who we play, I'm pretty psyched. I'm very sorry to Bruno again for the para. I'm sorry, man, but that's the game we play. I know we've been on the other end of that throughout the season, so it is what it is. We're going to take the W, and hopefully we can win. We're 2 wins away from the championship. The first ever season I did was the last time I did a full season of this like organization. It used to be Puddle, and now it's SPDA. We made finals and lost. Hopefully this time we can make finals and win. We're going to see how it goes. We'll see who we play next week, but thank you guys so much for watching. Have a wonderful day.